right? You're putting optics in front of logic, right? We're thinking like, okay, well, what looks best? Like, okay, like, yeah, no National Guard, right? That's just, I don't know. That like the way that shit plays out is just super fucked. Can you at least express that Republicans are insane? They love conspiracies. I think it's wrong to make false equivalencies between them. Conservatives have damaged democracies. I mean, conservatives are crazy, but I mean, like conservatives have Jews, lefties have the CIA, right? Like the CIA literally has done every fucking horrible bad thing they can think of. Every single American intervention is bad and horrible. Look at lefty discourse related to Palestine, Israel. It's a fucking joke, right? You've got a lot of these dipshits that couldn't find fucking Israel on a map, you know, like confidently telling you that they're 100% the bad actor in every single engagement that they have with Palestinians or the other like local regional actors and shit. And like, I don't know, like it's every, like, all of these things get really simplified. A lot of people miss most of the facts of these, and then it's just people like screaming at each other as demagogues, you know, from their ideological bastions at one another. I think it's really stupid. It's just not equivalent. I mean, like, I think that right now, in terms of like elected political power, I still think that the right is probably more damaging. It's harder to see now because we have all the branches of government. Well, no, I'm sorry. We have both halves of Congress and the White House. The Supreme Court has lost for a long time. By the way, remember your old friends that said that. LOL, I'm not electing Hillary just for the fucking Supreme Court. You need a better answer than that. Remember all of those very white, very straight friends that you had who were arguing shit like that, okay? Don't forget to hold them accountable. Because there were a lot of dumb fuck, left-leaning, white, straight people that said that shit because they don't give a fuck. Roe v. Wade doesn't affect them. LGBT laws don't affect them. Any of that shit, they don't give a fuck. So remember that. Sorry, fuck, we got tangent. How can you compare people putting all these problems on Jews compared to the CIA? Because it's the same fucking shit. Every single bad thing that happens overseas is because the CIA did this, the CIA is the reason why socialism doesn't exist in the United States. The CIA is the reason why everything is fucked. The CIA, blah, blah, blah. It's just stupid. It's dumb. It's stupid as fuck. And then they overlook like all of the foreign influence that any other country has or has exerted at any point in time. Like if you talk to some of these left-leaning people, here's what it basically sounds like. Every single country in the world tries their best and they try their hardest, and they're noble, they're doing the best they can, but the USA is just running around fucking everybody up. The CIA going everywhere, destroying every country, doing everything horrible. It's like, okay, dude, come on. Although, to be fair, the, hold on, I should be careful. Yeah, fuck, I need to clarify. When I say leftists, I'm using this term, I'm talking about socialists or communists, mainly on Twitter, not like Democrats. I think that as parties, I think that the Democratic Party in general is more sane than the Republican Party. But man, dude, you're seeing like, you're just, some of the, man, I read this article last night. Ooh, fuck. So, I don't know how many people know this, but the ACLU is like a radical free speech organization. That's what the ACLU has traditionally, historically been. I don't feel like reading this. This is too long to read out loud, but you guys can read this later on your own time. The ACLU is supposed to be like a radical free speech organization. That's what it's about. But there has been like huge strife internal to the ACLU recently where they're like, well, free speech is important and we do defend it every now and then. But maybe we should have like more like progressive agendas, like more of a progressive bend, you know? And they talk about in this article about how much money they received to like fight all of the anti-immigration stuff from Trump and everything. But this is a really sad article to read because you see like the idea of the ACLU taking like, they're supposed to be an apolitical entity. This isn't supposed to be an entity that like defends progressives or defends the left or the right. It's supposed to be like we defend like the First Amendment is like the big like ACLU thing, right? How much power do you think the ACLU has? The ACLU, I think, isn't it like one of the largest advocacy organizations in the United States? The ACLU is a pretty big deal. They must be, because I remember when I was a Republican, I hated them when I was like fucking 15 or whatever, because every single Republican talk show person would hate on the ACLU constantly. So they must have been pretty effective, right? I guess, because like fucking Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, these guys talked about the ACLU constantly. They hated the ACLU. Holy shit. They argue more courts before the Supreme Court of the United States than any other group other than the U.S. government. Don't you think calling all Republicans crazy gets a little old? I don't think all Republicans are crazy, but if you support Trump, you're just you are. There are very, very, very few people in the United States that could support somebody like that. Like maybe if you're incredibly wealthy and you're looking to like optimize your tax shit or whatever, then maybe. But no, like if you're poor and you support Trump, like I don't know. I just think you're an idiot. Or rather, not I think you're an idiot. You are an idiot. Or if you want like the country to be better in almost any way, it's really hard to imagine. And I hate bringing on conservatives to argue because it's so awkward. Because I hate doing it. But like anytime you bring a Republican on, it's like, okay, why do you why do you support Trump? And I was like, well, Trump did all sorts of good things for the U.S. Like, what did Trump do good for the United States? Well, he owned the libs. Like that's literally, yeah. Most other countries don't have nearly as active intelligence services, not even close. Only Russia or China could be argued, but Russia hasn't really had the influence to topple governments for a long time. They mostly focus on internal separatism. That you're just wrong, though. Now, in terms of like as big as the U.S., maybe, but like South America has been fucked with by so many countries, by fucking Cuba, by fucking Venezuela, and then look at the Middle East. Like the Iran has like an entire fucking branch, the Quds Force from the IRGC, I think, right, is dedicated to fucking with other countries in the region. Like, what are you talking about? You're so wrong. Like people have this idea that like the U.S. and China, Russia are the only people that meddle in foreign affairs, and everybody else is just like stuck in their own little bubble. It's not true. Look at fucking India. Look at north of India in the Kashmir region. Like there are plenty of countries that do like other shit in like just okay. Debate with Styx and shut the fuck up, Destiny coward. Styx and Hammer 666 actually permanently dodges me and has permanently dodged me and will continue to permanently dodge me. That dipshit, I remember watching that guy argue that Zyklon B couldn't be used to kill people because it was a disinfectant, okay? I'm still waiting for him to do the fucking 12 cups of bleach challenge because that's a disinfectant too in a video game. Fuck that guy, okay? That guy will never step into the ring, into the debate. What is it called? The Thunderdome. Israel assassinated an Iranian nuclear scientist in Iran. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Sorry. Boom. Okay. Jesus. Fuck. I still don't order my fucking food because I don't know if I want extra chicken or not. Hold on. Choice of sauce. Spicy waba sauce. Hell yeah. Add-ons. Green onions. Yes. Add to cart. Order a vegan meal. I already had my vegan breakfast. Okay. My Soylent. You've said this before. I think most Republicans are either single-issue voters or are resistant to letting Democrats take the reins because they're afraid of how much they'll take given an inch. Yeah, I think most people are single-issue voters. Most people don't know policy or anything like that. Yeah, like my mom would probably vote single-issue on like abortion. Well, I don't know now. Now she'd be like ride or die for whatever the fuck Trump wants, unfortunately. But my fucking parents... I love my parents to death, but they're not getting vaccinated. As soon as I heard my mom say that, I was like, oh, God. I didn't even ask why. I didn't even want to know why. I was just like, have you guys gotten vaccinated? And they're like, no, we're not sure if we're going to. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you still believe this nation won't top 65% vaccinated? Absolutely positive. I am positive of it. Fuck this dog shit country. We will never... what are we at right now? Wait, hold on, shit. Maybe I should check real quick. When I looked at the number last time, my prediction was we won't hit 65%. Let's see. USA. 40... Nope. You know what? I might even adjust that downwards. Maybe we don't pass... 55, maybe. No. I'm good with my number, 65, because we will start vaccinating children soon. I can't believe our curve died off so fast. How fucking cringe. Canada's going to pass us in fully vaccinated people in like 3 months. The number of people who've gotten at least 1 dose in Canada is way higher. This is cringe. You should be fucking embarrassed. But the people that should be embarrassed feel no shame, so. Why is your response to the anti-vax argument that the vaccine isn't FDA approved? That's not my response. I mean, the vaccine isn't FDA approved because it's used for emergency authorization right now. But the, I mean, like, we know what the coronavirus does. In your ideal world, would you force vaccinations? Fuck no. I don't think you should force vaccinations. That's unethical. If people want, they should have the option to jump into the ocean and swim off to another fucking country. You don't have to make them get vaccinated. But if they want to stay here. Sorry. In a video game. Hold on. Okay.
Their side 2 more.
Wait! I didn't finish ordering my food. I'm so hungry. Hold on. 5 dumplings. Aren't there already forced vaccinations in most countries, like against polio? I don't know if I don't know if public schools force you to. I don't remember in the United States. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I'm not sure. I think they did in my school, but it was a private grade school, so. Do you think people are anti-vax because of autism or more because they don't know what FDA approved is? The types of people that are opposed to the vaccine are not the types of people that should be opposed to vaccines. Like, here is like the type of person that I could see being opposed to a vaccine, okay? You're some guy that eats 100% all natural fucking vegan diet. You go to the gym like 7 days a week, okay? You get all your sleep every night. You live like the most naturalistic, holistic fucking life that you can imagine. And somebody's like, do you want the vaccine? And you're like, I don't want to put that foreign shit in my body. It's like, okay, I think that's pretty stupid, but sure, whatever. Okay? But if you're a 350-pound American huffing down your second pack of cigarettes for the day, driving to fucking McDonald's to shove a whole bunch of fucking processed and fried food and garbage into your body, drinking sodas and shit, going to fucking parties and taking drugs from strangers and stuff like that, and then somebody offers you a vaccine and you're like, man, I don't know if I want to put that shit in my body. Fuck you, dude. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. You put all sorts of horrible fucking shit to you treat your body so fucking horribly, okay? You won't even if the vaccine was fucked up, you're not going to notice, okay? Because there's so much other shit fucked with your body right now. Like, fuck you. Okay, hold on. Boom, boom. Okay, we got 5 dumplings. We've got rice, vegetables, and chicken. And a bottle of water. Sounds good. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm playing this again.
Maybe with Sean King, you see it. You know, I've definitely seen it pick up more in the past few months on both sides.
I mean, with the left, it's, I mean,
Yeah.
the example I gave was from 2014.
I know.
That's
but
been
even
around
so.
for a while. Even
Yeah,
when you're
it's-
looking
it's
at the
not-
civil rights
not
movement
new.
and you're looking at the literal burning down of civil rights headquarters and things like that. My parents and my grandparents.
Okay, when you got to go back 60 or 70 years to get other examples of, okay, let's keep it era dependent, all right?
My great-grandparents in the civil rights movement were continuously policed and harassed for their beliefs, violently so, jailed for their beliefs. So
Sure.
I find it's hard for me to compare when civil rights folks are being imprisoned and killed for their beliefs. However, because a conservative can't use Twitter, I'm supposed to feel bad.
Well, I don't think there's a comparison. What I wonder is whether or not there is a leftist ideologue.
You know what would be really fucking interesting? If, follow me on this one, okay? This is a big, follow me on this one, okay? We're going down a big hypothetical journey right now, okay? I think it's funny AOC denied $100,000 for Abuela and Puerto Rico just because it came from a conservative. Is that true, or is this guy lying in chat? If Twitter would have existed in the days of Martin Luther King and the conservative establishment ran and controlled everything, and Martin Luther King was banned off of all social media platforms, do you think he still would have been able to amass a following? Her abuela denied the help. Oh, gotcha. Not true. Someone from the family refused it. Gotcha. I think it's a little scary that social media companies have so much power over who gets platformed but who doesn't. I think that's a little bit spooky, but
Someone who is similar
he did it without Twitter, so yeah. Well, but that was back when social media wasn't used. Like, people used other forums for getting their news, right?
to Alex Jones or someone like that was blackballed from 6 social media platforms over the course of 12
Yeah,
hours.
right. Who?
On the left, it doesn't really happen at all. Look at what they admonish, like abolish police, give everybody health care. Like, what in that world, what in that realm would be like, you're done. You don't need to, you're talking about killing people.
Well, we're saying burn it all down this summer during the riots.
Buildings, but that's not, it's
But
not
that's still
people.
personal.
That's you guys. Listen, we can be left leaning. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me be careful because I already got departnered from this fucking website once. Okay, for not being careful enough for this. Okay. We can be left leaning. We can support BLM. We can support progressive policies. We can support LGBT people and all of that. You don't have to support riots. Okay. At least not against private property. That's for brain dead dipshits. Okay? There's no reason why you should ever say it's okay for people to go out and riot against private property. Don't be a fucking moron. That is a fucking moron take for fucking moronic white kids from the suburbs. Okay? Don't ever support that shit. It is so because when you own positions like that, you have to understand that you look like a fucking idiot. That everybody in the world sees you as a fucking lunatic. Okay? Like, pictures like this should never, ever, 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 ever fucking exist online. That you're gonna make down the road, people like me have to fucking answer for, okay? I don't wanna have to describe to a conservative why people on the left say shit like this, okay? Don't put other people in positions like that. It's so easy for you to just say, hey, riots are shit, we shouldn't do that. Also, we have learned this from time and time again, that rioting hurts your cause, which it does. And we've seen so many different data scientists. David Shore got fucking fired for bringing this up. It was true when MLK did it. It was true when it happened in Kenosha. We've seen the data, okay? Rioting fucks people's support of your movement. Don't do it. It's just bad. Don't fucking do it. And MLK was against rioting his whole life for that exact fucking reason, okay?
People's property, they saved
That's
their whole
violence.
savings. 2 billion damages as a country. We need to say that violence is bad. Burning people's, stuff
Right.
is bad.
And killing
I think we need to give perspective to
unarmed
it.
people
Yeah, it
is
has to
bad,
be
too.
context.
Yeah, and also you're also eating the Republican talking points. When a Republican says, "Yo, why are you guys rioting? That's bad." What you were the right response is, "Yo, most of us don't riot, dude. That's a very small number of people, and we disavow those and we condemn those. Just like I'm sure you disavow and condemn like doctors that murder fucking or people that murder abortion doctors or crazy Republicans that go on whatever. Like I'm sure you disavow them as well. Right. Yeah, of course, right? You don't have to own that. Don't play on the Republican ground. It's not like, well, actually, hold on. I watched my favorite YouTube streamer and he gave me a really complicated breakdown about how all private property is arbitrary and actually the establishment of the police force only exists to defend capitalist owners that own private property, so we can actually destroy that private property and burn it down, even if they might be franchised or owned by small business owners or whatever, but it's all private property and we can burn it. Like, don't do that. Why? You're cringe and white, okay? Even if you're not white, you're white when you make arguments like that. It is so fucking cringe. Don't fucking do that. Holy Christ, it's the most sweet shit I can think of. Christ.
Yeah, because we can't say burning buildings is bad and then not understand the reason as to why they're burning. I don't agree with burning them, but we kind of got to give context to both. We can't just say this is.
There's context to pedophiles. There are people that end up getting raped as children that grow up and rape children. We can have context to it, but you can still call it bad. Just because there's additional context to something doesn't necessarily serve as a justification for it. Just because somebody has a reason for doing some shit does not mean that shit is okay to do. It's super easy to just disavow it. Just say, oh yeah, that's shit. They shouldn't do it. We should understand why they do it. And now you can run into your MLK quotes if you want, right? Riots are the language of the unheard. It would be unfair. I don't remember all of his speech. If you go to my positions.discount.gd, I think I've quoted there. There's a lot of, Martin Luther King talks about like, hey, I condemn riots, but it's not fair for me to condemn riots without also condemning the conditions that create riots, which is fair, which is fine, okay? But you never, ever, ever have to like own the position that riots are okay, all right? Don't do that.
It's all terrible.
I don't want to be anecdotal about this, but at the same, so my parents are immigrants. They work for everything that they have. My mom, she came from a family of 6, and they didn't have a lot when they came to this country. And each of their siblings, including my mom, they had to work for everything that they have, and they made something of themselves. So and then we also have rental properties. So if one of them burned down because of a riot, that's our life savings right there. We put a lot of money into that.
Do you know?
Also, nothing makes me more upset than rich white YouTubers and streamers and like people like this, like shitting on people that own real estate that make 1/10 the money that they do. The dumbest shit I ever saw in the world was Philosophy Tube, was Abigail, her and her friends on Twitter talking about how they were gonna fucking rip off their landlord because they don't think it's morally right that they should have to fucking pay rent in a fucking pandemic, while she's probably banking 10 times as much. I'm not exaggerating. Probably making 10 times the money that her landlord is. Give me a fucking break. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
So I guess let's take it back to the civil rights movement.
It's so funny. Like, there's got to be like a meme material, but I'm imagining you've got white suburban Twitch YouTuber talking to you guys about how Trump doesn't actually care and understand about you because he's a top 1%er. Meanwhile, they're like top 1%ers. Like, fuck. I'm sorry. This shit triggers the fuck out of me. We're back into this.
Because usually I think the future sometimes is a better.
It actually, okay, fuck. Sorry, I sidetracked so much. It reminds me of it's 1984, where the philosophy or the ideas presented in that book are that the top ruling class is always, no. It's you have got like your middle class and your top class rotate within each other, but the bottom people are always stuck there, I think. Isn't that what they were reading when they went to their little secret fucking closet and they read their dumbass book? I think that's part of, that probably comes from some other shit that I don't even know about, but fuck.
A riot. That's our life savings right there. We put a lot of money into that.
Do you know? So I guess let's take it back to the civil rights movement, because usually I think the future sometimes is a better indicator of what's like morally right and wrong. I lived about 10 minutes from Ferguson and was there when those buildings were burning down, and it was incredibly terrifying. But I also remember the business owners who said, I can replace my windows. What I can't replace is a lost child. So hearing those business owners, hearing them, I can talk about them hypothetically and how I hypothetically think they might feel, but I also can talk about people who had their own buildings burned down.
Of course,
So-
and people.
Okay, but this is also not true. Whenever somebody says some dumb shit like this, like, yo, they can just use insurance on their buildings. You know what the correct response is? Oh, well, I hope you shut the fuck up about healthcare, because everyone in the US can get healthcare insurance, can't they? Like, what a stupid fucking, like, and it was funny because I think there were articles, if I prepare for these talks, I'd be able to pull these articles up. Or maybe if August makes this a video, he'll have the articles up. I don't know if he does a good job of these sometimes. But I remember that there were reports in Minneapolis where a lot of the business owners there were fucked because it takes a long time for insurance to pay out. The business is closed while they're waiting for the insurance payout. They have to argue over whether or not they're going to get paid out what they think their business was worth. They might not have the capital to sustain themselves through that period of not earning money, so they might end up closing down anyway. Insurance is rough. Like, sometimes insurance won't cover the cleanup costs, especially because there was a weird thing was it for fire damage? Like, everything is technically biohazard? Or am I thinking of like flood damage? I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was something like sometimes the cleanup cost is like really, really, really expensive. But yeah, maybe it's for, I think that was for flood. That might have been an unrelated thing. But insurance is not like, anybody that's ever gone through like a big insurance claim before knows that it's usually pretty difficult. There is a reason why if you ever turn on a commercial and insurance people are advertising themselves, they always say like, oh, hassle-free. Oh my God, it's hassle-free. No, you'll get your payout easy. The reason why they say it is because everybody knows that for insurance, it's a huge fucking deal sometimes to get a payout for shit that's happened. Like,
People who do say that they're on like, the Black Lives Matter side, of
Not
course.
necessarily. A
Well,
lot
sure.
of them are white.
But at the same time, like I go back to business because, I'm an accountant, I care about the numbers and all that stuff.
it seems like before you got departnered, you were timid to talk about riots. It's not that I was timid to talk about riots, it's that we didn't talk about riots because everybody on the left seemed like they knew to say like, yeah, riots are shit. Like the only reason why I have to spend more time condemning them is because now you get these people on the left that are like defending riots, and they have all these weird mental gymnastic loopholes that they jump through to say like, like, well, all capital is owned by capitalists. All capitalists are necessarily inflicting violence on communities, and all police exist as defenders of capital. Therefore, burning down all capital represents a threat to the rich, oppressive capitalists that are perpetually enacting violence on people, and it represents a threat to the police that are hired to defend the capital. Like, people have like these whole systems set up to justify infinite rioting against private property. It's like, okay, well, fuck, I guess now we have to actually talk about this, right? But before, I wouldn't spend a lot of time condemning riots like 5 years ago, because every sane left-leaning person would just be like, oh yeah, like riots are bad. Obviously, we shouldn't be burning down private property. Of course, 100%. Now, I'll support if you want to riot against public property, if you want to burn down a cop car or some shit like that. I think that can be way more easily justified, because now you're actually talking about rioting against the public institutions that are oppressing you. But private property, fuck out of here with that bullshit. You're way the fuck off in some crazy land right now. Okay,
But-
sorry,
I
hold on.
hear about
Black Lives Matter side, of
not
course.
necessarily. A
Well,
lot
sure.
of them are white.
But at the same time, like I go back to business because, I'm an accountant, I care about the numbers and all that stuff. But
And I care about Black lives.
All
I
right,
care
but
about
I,
lives.
we all care about Black lives, but also too, like a lot of misinformation was spread about those riots too, with the hands up, don't shoot. They said that he was facing backwards, and they found out that he wasn't, and he didn't have his hands up.
You're talking about last year, or?
talking about Michael Brown, that's what started this.
Yeah,
This is like one of the most damaging things to BLM, and I hate that I got like a little bit more fucking woke pilled on this. There are really good examples of people that got killed by officers that was bullshit. Is it Philando Castile is one name. My understanding is this is a black father, or it might have been his girlfriend's daughter, but his girlfriend and daughter were in the car. Police officer walks up and the guy says he has a gun, and the cop executes him in the car. And it's like, I don't think anything ever came out that vindicated the cop there. Super fucked up. Absolutely fucked up. But then sometimes it feels like BLM wants to like champion every single person that gets killed by the cops. The Michaela one was a really good example of that, where like this girl is literally fucking stabbing to death another girl and gets shot by a cop. Why the fuck are you trying to like rally on this one? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, or Makia. It's not Makia. I say Michaela a lot. I'm sorry, Makia. Like, pick your martyrs better. Jesus.
and he didn't have his hands up.
You're talking about last year, or?
No.
Talking about Michael Brown, that's what started this.
Yeah.
Let's just not
Well, I
get
mean,
And they're
into that.
spreading the
Avoid that
misinformation,
one.
and then it also.
And also, if you'd like to have the perspective, so I was there that day,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and we can talk about censorship. So after he was killed, he was on the ground for 4 hours. Our radio stations were turned off and our news stations were turned off. So we didn't have information as to what was going on, which I
So you
agree
don't like the
allowed
censorship.
misinformation to spread.
Exactly.
However, to say that, so no, I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm saying maybe like know what the people in that community were faced with before
Yeah.
speaking on something that you don't
No,
know.
it's terrible. That's terrible. The censorship of those radio stations is awful, and I think it contributed to a lot of
Misinformation.
not
That's
just
why
not
people
just
flocked
misinformation,
and
but
went downtown.
pain and destruction that happened within those communities
Yeah.
because people weren't being given the information they were entitled to.
Yeah.
You know, I think that in itself is an argument against censorship for sure.
Tech companies should be allowed to ban whoever they want.
Here's like a question. So if you don't know, I don't know anything about history or geography until I start debating people, and then I'll read and research. So I know a lot about like the Middle East or other like random pockets of information. Here's something that I didn't know about until like a year ago. I don't know why I never learned this in school. I don't remember hearing about this in school ever. I'm curious if this would work today. In World War II, we literally had like a fucking office of censorship where you just weren't allowed to talk about a lot of different things through every fucking medium. We weren't allowed to talk about a lot of things. I wonder if that would fly today, or if people would lose their mind over it. Like, it got so particular that like people casting baseball games weren't allowed to talk about if the sun was out or if it was overcast or anything like that. Like that was how like careful this office was about like leaking different information to people that might be listening. I feel like if that were to happen today in the U.S., I feel like we would lose our minds. I don't think we would ever. I don't think we'd be able to do it. The Gulf War was a major shift in this. I think you had CNN shooting directly from the war to American TVs. Oh my God. I remember the second Gulf War, the Iraq War, where you had like, I always thought this was so weird as a kid because like that was the first war I guess I was alive for, but it just seemed so surreal because it looked like a StarCraft game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but you would see like fucking, I can't draw Iraq for shit, but Baghdad would be somewhere up here. You would see like 4,000 troops here. this was supposed to be a comma, and you'd see like 5,000 troops here, and you'd see like 7,000 troops here, and you'd see shit like this, and it's like, this is kind of crazy. Like, I wonder if Saddam like turns on CNN and shit to look for, like, I don't know. I thought that was really, really crazy. The Middle East was so one-sided, it's surreal. Yeah, maybe. My tutor is here. Hold on one second. I'll be back one second. I'm getting my food. Geraldo Rivera reported exact troop locations and got kicked out of Iraq for it. Pepe La. Nice. One second.